Good morning, Rev Wambugu.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to KSouth South.
Yes, thank you.
Wambugu is a household name. But for the sake of those maybe you've not met before,
Yes.
and our viewers,
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Wambugu, and I was an evangelist here for quite some time. And currently I'm in US, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm ordained, and I was ordained by the Presbyterian Church of United States, and that's where I'm serving currently. But to me, I refer KSouth as my home church.
Okay.
So whenever I come, I feel more comfortable being here and working with my fellow elders.
Well, it's quite a privilege to have you around here,
Yes.
and especially just around the time you are celebrating our 25th anniversary as a parish.
Yes.
So basically what we want to know, the time you're here.
Yes.
When did you join KSouth?
If I can remember very well, maybe it is around 89, 90. That's when I moved from Nyeri and I came to Nairobi. I was doing some business.
Okay.
Yes, and then in fact, the reason for coming to Nairobi, it was just a calling. My brother, one of my brothers told me, he listened to me when I was preaching in Nyeri, and he told me, brother, I think you need to move to Nairobi. What you are preaching here, this is too much for these people. And I moved here. My brother was staying at Civil Servants. That's how I was able to join this church. He was going to St. Andrews, but I told him, you know what, the nearest Presbyterian church, that's where I want to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
You became an ordinary member, or what happened when you came?
Yes, when I came here, in fact, we started with a brigade. There was no, in fact, that's the time the brigade was starting, and I joined the teachers, and I became one of the teachers with the boys. So I started with the boys, and I remember those days I was doing all kinds of stuff with them, and I enjoyed, because I was also a teacher in Nyeri, teaching the brigade. Yeah, yeah.
So eventually you became the evangelist for KSouth?
Yes. Before I became an evangelist, I decided to go to school because I needed at least a little bit of education, and I needed theology. So I remember my friend Douglas Moshiri is the one who introduced me to East Africa School of Theology. I was thinking of going to pastoral, but I was weighing which is which. And an opportunity opened for me to go to East Africa School of Theology. I had no money, and I remember I tried to raise some money, but I could not. But when we did a fundraiser, the elders at that time in this church, they were part of what I was trying to do, and they helped me to raise my school fees for 3 years. So I was sponsored by this church for 3 years. Then after graduating, the evangelist, that time it was the larger Dandora Parish. The evangelist who was here, he got a scholarship to go to US. So the immediate person was me. And I can't even remember whether I did an interview or the elders just told me, come and start working. I can't remember what happened because I got married. I was at home. I had no job, but I was still preaching. I was in the program. I was preaching and all that. And then I was told that the evangelist is leaving. And I joined. I had already joined the church, and I was invited, and I became the evangelist. At that time, it was the larger Dandora Parish. So when the subdivision was done, so I remained KSouth.
Who was the evangelist before you?
It was Karaoke.
Karaoke.
Yeah, he was from Umoja. Yeah.
So he went to
US for further studies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you become the evangelist. How was the workload?
The workload was huge. I remember because I used to go to Ruai. I had no car, just, there were shortcuts all the way to Ruai. And sometimes it's in the evening. I used to go to Moja. I think it, I can't remember the name of the church. It was in a, I'm forgetting the name. And all these areas I just used to walk.
Walk?
Yes, walk around.
Okay.
My salary I could not afford to use the matatus and have the salary to pay my house and all that. And all these, catechism classes, I had to do them.
Yeah.
I remember my wife, and that time she was very pregnant with Spurgeon. She would help me go to some of the classes and teach. One, I was privileged because we met with Faith in college, so she had a very solid background and good theology and teaching and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was she also working by the time?
No, by the time we were jobless. We stayed in civil servant. We had no job for 3 months.
Oh.
Yeah, we got married right away from college.
Wow.
Without any job, but the Lord was providing.
That was baptism by fire.
It was baptism by fire, but I can't forget about this church because the members were very, very supportive, even in a wedding and all that. That was great. Okay. And I think that's the reason motivated me to stay here. I was to go to pastoral school, college, and become one of the ministers here. But the motivation here, I think I felt that I'm doing the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. About how many districts were there by then? When you
by then it was only 7.
7 districts?
Yes, 7 districts. And I was given, because 86, during that time when I became an evangelist, it's amazing. I don't know how the elders decided to ordain this young man. I was very young. I was 29. And I was ordained as an elder. And I was given district number 3, which I remember we were not more than 5 people. I had my deacons and maybe a few people. So it was a test for me. You are a young evangelist. You are an elder. What can you do? And we truly proved that God is faithful. We used to raise the money for this church. We used to compete with district number 7, that we used to call it other areas. Mr. Kanguru is a witness that I used to defeat him in fundraising. Wow. So I used to be number 2 from district number 7. Yeah, those days it was, but it was fun. We were doing it for fun. And because the church, the old building, we were packed and people were staying outside. And sometimes it's very hot, it's raining and all that. So people are longing to come to this church, to this building here. So every time when we had a fundraiser, it was fun. Yeah.
I can remember district number 7 was a giant.
Oh, it was a giant. But Mr. Dungu was a good mentor for me. We were good friends, and we used to compete a little bit. Yeah.
Was there a school by then?
No. There was. I don't think even we had an idea of a school, but maybe it was somewhere. But I don't think we were talking about school because that time the concentration was this building. How can we complete this? And I remember. Yes, I was an evangelist and as an elder, and Mr. Kaguro used to come every evening. We used to, I was like a contractor with him, and he would talk about these technical things and all that, but we helped each other.
You are his site engineer.
Oh, yes, his site engineer. And in fact, there's one of the, I don't know what you call it, one of the pillars here, it was bending, and I told Mr. Kaguro, I think this is not good. So one of here was redone in a way the engineer was able to do it. So I know the structure, I know the foundation of this building in a very good way.
Maybe with a rough estimate, what can you say the size of the population then for the congregation?
When I joined this church, I remember I was either number 411 by the time I became a member. And by the time I was an evangelist, that was my number. But since I was also keeping the records, when I teach the members, I used to fill them in the register and all that. I was having a lot of work, a lot of fun. And by the time I was leaving, to 2001, I think the register had maybe 1,600, 15 to 1,600 members here.
Well, it's quite a growth.
Yes, it was a growth.
Numerically and spiritually.
Yeah, those were the only registered members, but there were others because most of the classes, my classes had 30, 40, 50 members. Okay. Yeah.
You're very passionate with the young disciples.
Oh, yes.
How was the youth then? Were they strong?
Yeah, you know, I think it's the calling, and I was able to relate with the young people, and the work of an evangelist is to make sure that, you know, everyone feels comfortable. Yeah. And so I think I was able to relate with the young people. I was able to relate with the older generation. I was able to work with the elders as young as I was. And I think that helped me to motivate even the young people. That time, I think, we were starting the English service and all that. And, you know, we were able. And especially when we started doing, I think, I don't know whether it was what we used to call the name, the confirmation classes for college and all that. I remember there was a time I used to have like 70 kids coming for those classes. Wow. So it was fun.
Oh, the characters in classes.
Yes, yeah, for the young people. And they will do a test after every class. When we are done, I'll tell them, you know, you have to be careful because at the end of this class, I'll give you a paper. And it was true. I used to work on papers and they used to do a test. But anyway, just to make sure that they are listening and understand. Some of them now, I meet them and say, you know, you taught me, you did this for us, exams were like this. Yeah, so it was just motivating them and counseling them and working with them. Okay. Yeah.
But during your tenure, there were only two services, English and...
yes, and Kikuyu.
Okay.
Yes.
Kiswahili was not...
Kiswahili was yes, they were talking about Kiswahili service, but people were very resistant. And they wanted Kikuyu. And I still miss those days. The Kikuyu services and the Kigosho, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Would you advocate today we go back to Kikuyu service?
Depending on, I think there should be something like that. Because like even in US, we have Kikuyu services. Oh, really? Yes, we have churches that are worshiping in Kikuyu and they are packed. Yes, I know we are in a city. But language is very, very important when you use the language in the right way. Number one, if you are not able to use and to communicate, especially in preaching, what maybe in my theological understanding, language is very, very important when you're preaching. So if you're not able to communicate well with the congregation, if they start collecting you, you're speaking this way, you lose they lose the track. So I'm not saying that, and I came back here and people are speaking very good Swahili, but we are Kikuyus. We are Kikuyus, we struggle with when you go to Mombasa, when they're using Swahili, it's perfect. Yes. And if you get a pastor who is fluent in Swahili, that's good. So anyway, I think there should be something. Okay. Maybe an extra service somewhere for those who would like maybe the Kikuyu service. But I think the church is doing good. Okay.
What would you say were the biggest challenges that you faced when you're the evangelist here?
Yeah, at the beginning, I think it was the challenge of the young people and the elders, and being part of the leadership. I knew, in fact, even before I became an elder, when I was just worshiping, there was this big fight that people are speaking in tongues. This is not Presbyterianism, and I used to hear all that because we were trying maybe to bring to make sure that the young people are feeling comfortable. And having gone to East Africa School of Theology, where and it is a Assemblies of God. I met very good professors from US who were well trained. Some of them were Presbyterians, and that's why I came to love East Africa School of Theology with all that training and all that. And one of the things that I learned is that if you don't allow the young people to express themselves, and the current generation maybe to go with the current trend, you lose them. And the other thing, there was the wrong teaching about speaking in tongues and all that. And there was chaos. And I understood the elders why they were hesitant with allowing all this to go on, because there were chaos everywhere. And what used to surprise us is that when there's a crusade at a whole park, some members of this church will not come. They will opt to go to Hull Park and listen to the preachers. And then when they come the following Sunday, they want the church to be like outside there. So I noticed that, and I realized this will be a big issue. So I used to encourage people to come for prayer. We pray together, speak in tongues, do whatever you want, but with at the right time and the right teaching. And for me, that was the key, and the good theology about what is this we talk about tongues, because tongues are not for everyone. And there was that condemnation. If the elders are not speaking in tongues, they are dry, they are not spiritual and all that. And so being part of the eldership and all that, I said, no, that's not the case. Tongues is not the first gift of the Holy Spirit. So by and by, that was not an issue anymore, because I'm part of the elders. When I start preaching, I would give people time to pray for themselves, and it was fine, and it was acceptable. And then within that time, you hear about the music extravaganza. Do you know it started here? And it started spreading all over in Kenya. I used to invite musicians, Akina Julia what? Yes, those old musicians, Akina Wandaro and all those people, bring them together, and Sunday afternoon. And so we would worship, we would sing and dance and all that, and the church used to be packed on the other side on Sunday afternoon. And so all that brought the idea, people can worship God, they can pray together, and I think the idea was bought by the church.
Besides now inviting or organizing for those musical extravaganzas, did you go out for crusades as a PCM church?
You know, for me, I have never been a crusade person, but I used to be invited by other churches to do crusades. I can't remember whether we did a crusade within the church. Maybe I think Dandora we did one time. But I don't remember KSouth. I'm not sure. Maybe we did, whether we did a crusade. For me, it was the eternal calling of people to come inside. That was my goal. And the way you can win them, and the teachings and Bible studies and prayers and motivating people. How can we be a church? Yes, when I was called, I was an evangelist. But within my calling, I had a gift of teaching, and that was my passion.
Well, that's good enough. From the eye of an evangelist, how would you describe, maybe in a sentence, the congregation of KSouth?
I think we are doing well. I love this church. I love the motivation. I love what we are doing and what we have accomplished. But we need also to get out of the comfort, because when you are done with a building like this, people feel comfortable. We are done. We have a school. We are doing that work. But we have to remind ourselves the calling of the church. It's not just building schools. Yes, that is good. And that was the work of the missionaries when they came. The first thing they did, they were building schools and the hospitals, and then they built a church. But the primary goal how do we win those souls to Christ? So why should we see empty seats on Sundays? How can we motivate people to be part of what we are doing? And I think that should be the obligation of every member. And the other thing is, and that's what I've been doing even on the other side. People have been preached too much. You know, we have been preaching. And so, and just giving a motivational message just to get people feel comfortable. But what I've realized, when the church today needs a lot of teaching, we need to go back to the mode of teaching. On Sunday, and every time when we get an opportunity to teach, yes, there's preaching, but also what is that we can teach people to know who they are and the calling of every member. It's not left maybe to the pastor or to the evangelist or to the elders. I think it's there should be a way we motivate people. Now, this is your work. When you get out of your Sunday, and in fact, back home in the US, we call it, this is a boot camp. We come to refuel ourselves on Sunday, and then we go out. A boot camp is where you train yourself, and then you are out there fighting. So what have you done apart from giving your offering? Because there are people who are very good by giving their offerings and tithes, and then they leave that to the elders to do with whatever they want. Pay the pastor, pay the evangelist. But that's not the work. The work for us as a church is to make sure that we are going out, reaching out, calling people. You know, if you don't see somebody, and that's how I motivate people. If you don't see somebody in church on Sunday, as a member, it is your responsibility to call them and to check where they are. I do that when I stand. I can know who is not there in church on Sunday, and I call them that evening or text them, are you okay? Are you doing okay? So can you imagine if the members of this church do that? That every Sunday you look at your friends, they are not here, and in the evening, call them. I missed you. And don't tell them anything. Just tell them, I missed you. I hope you're doing okay. And that motivates the members. So for our members, they know that if a pastor doesn't see me on Sunday, I expect a text message or maybe a call.
And that's very nice. That's very nice. Maybe as we come to the conclusion, which ministers did you serve under here?
Oh, I started with Dr. Maina, Kenya. That time is when I went to East Africa School of Theology. Dr. Maina was the minister. I think Gathanju, Reverend Gathanju, the former moderator. Then Bagara, Reverend Kifadi, Karanja, Edward. So and Reverend Mainge, we were together. So I had all these ministers with me, and I can tell you, each one of them, you know, I think there was a personal touch with each one of them, and the training that I got from them laid a very good foundation for me when I left here as an evangelist. I did a lot of work. And the assignments that I got from each one of them molded me. So when the parish was commissioned, and I became the evangelist here, I used all these pastoral gifts that I received from the other ministers.
Who did you hand over to as an evangelist?
Gitere.
Gitere.
Gitere is the one who picked. Samuel Gitere is the one who picked after me.
Now, the same parish we are talking about is celebrating 25 years. What would you tell the congregation as a word of counsel and the way forward, and the way maybe you'd like them to move serving God?
I think this is a milestone because that time there was no KCC. So the church has grown, and you have given birth to another child. And I think my prayer is to move forward and to think what else can we do? Anytime when a church has a project or maybe something that there's a goal, there's an objective, that this year, we are doing the school now. What do we do after this? What impact can we make in this community that we are, that is surrounding us? And since you have all the opportunities to do that as a parish, and with two congregations, I think there's a lot that the elders can sit down and say, okay, we have accomplished this year. And every year there should be a goal. Something. There should be a goal. We are doing this. And we know that God is going to give us, resources. I was giving somebody an example. We have only one congregation, but we have 5 services in our church. We have 5 services. And what you call says, our says, our budget, let's say the budget, is huge. And what we do, and I hope maybe this can be a goal for this parish, we don't wait until the end of the year. That's when we are motivating people. What we do is, like now we did our budget, or maybe we ask people, this is our budget this year. We have a budget of maybe $4 million and point something dollars. So we go to the members and tell them, we want you to pledge. It's not even giving a tithe. We want you to pledge what you want to give next year for God's kingdom.
You start planning for next year?
Yes. And by the end of December, 3/4 of our budget is met. By this time, you see the pledges are there. So we don't talk about giving on Sunday. Like every time come and pray for those who are giving the tithe and offering. No, we just tell, this is the way you give. There are 4 ways of giving. And your pledge. And by the end of the year, the budget is met. I think there should be something like that people be motivated now to say, okay, it's not just about tithe. It's about how can I support this church? How can I do it? This is my church. This is my family. This is my home church. How do I support that church? And what is the goal? And then the other thing is the elders must come up with some goals and objectives. When we are doing the budget, we have the budget for the mission, we have the budget for this and this and this and this. And what is that? Like now, every year I'm told, Wambugu, present your budget. What do you want to do this year? And I already have submitted my budget. And the other pastor and the other teams and all that, give us what you want to accomplish this year and your goal. And all of it is put together. And then we present it to the congregation. So that Sundays is a day of maybe pastoral care, listening to the members and giving them time to hear the word of God.
Oh, very impressive, Reverend Wambugu.
Yes.
We are happy to have you around. The $1 million question, will you be joining us on 6th April as we celebrate?
If one of the members will buy me a ticket, I'll be happy to come back. But I'll pray for all the blessings.
Yes.
And I told the minister, I wish I could. I can come to celebrate because I love this church, but that's a million question.
We understand. We understand it's not a cheap thing. But we are happy you've given us your blessings.
Yes.
And we'll communicate as we celebrate online or the other way around.
I'll be joining. I'll be joining. But if the Lord opens the door, you see my body around.
Thank you so much, Reverend Wambugu, for your time. We are greatly honored. And we are just kickstarting the process of the celebrations. And you're part of the celebration. That's why we're having you today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I give thanks and for this congregation and the blessings that the Lord has given us together. And I truly love this church.
Wow.
May the Lord bless you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.